Zelenskyy's visit to the G7 summit in Hiroshima as a show of solidarity and support from the world's major democracies against Russia's invasion of Ukraine. In a bold and unprecedented move, Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelenskiy traveled to Japan to attend the G7 summit in person, despite the ongoing war with Russia that has ravaged his country. Zelenskyy's trip was a stark display of confidence and Western solidarity, as he sought to secure more arms and aid from the world's wealthiest democracies. The G7 summit, hosted by Japan's Prime Minister Fumio Kishida in Hiroshima, was dominated by the crisis in Ukraine, which has escalated since Russia's invasion last February. The leaders of Canada, France, Germany, Italy, Japan, the United Kingdom and the United States expressed their strong support for Ukraine's sovereignty and territorial integrity, and condemned Russia's aggression and violations of international law. They also announced new measures to isolate Russia economically and diplomatically, and to enhance Ukraine's defense capabilities. Among the most significant steps were the provision of F-16 fighter jets to Kyiv, the expansion of sanctions on Russian individuals and entities, and the suspension of Russia from the SWIFT international payment system. Zelenskyy met with several G7 leaders individually, including President Biden, who reaffirmed the U.S. commitment to Ukraine's security and democracy. Zelenskyy also appealed to other countries that were invited as observers, such as India and Brazil, to join the international coalition against Russia. Zelenskyy's visit to Hiroshima was also symbolic, as he paid tribute to the victims of the atomic bombing that devastated the city in 1945. He said that Ukraine shared Japan's vision of a world free of nuclear weapons, and that he hoped that Hiroshima's example of resilience and peace would inspire his nation to overcome the war. Zelenskyy's visit to the G7 summit was a historic moment for Ukraine, as it demonstrated its determination to resist Russia's aggression and to align itself with the democratic values and interests of its Western allies. It also showed that Ukraine was not alone in its struggle, but had the backing of some of the most powerful countries in the world. In his visit to Jeddah, Zelenskyy also made a strong appeal to the Arab League leaders not to turn a blind eye to the war and to support Ukraine's sovereignty and territorial integrity. He said that Ukraine was facing a brutal aggression from Russia, which had violated international law and norms by invading and occupying parts of his country. He urged the Arab countries to stand with Ukraine in its struggle for freedom and democracy, and to help end the humanitarian crisis caused by the war. Zelenskyy thanked Saudi Arabia for granting Ukraine $400 million in humanitarian aid last year, and praised the role of Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman in mediating the release of 10 foreigners captured by Russia in Ukraine. He also expressed his gratitude to other Arab states that had shown solidarity with Ukraine, such as Egypt, Jordan, Kuwait and the United Arab Emirates. He said that Ukraine valued its relations with the Arab world, and was ready to enhance cooperation in various fields, such as trade, energy, tourism and culture. Zelenskyy also addressed the issue of Syria, where Syrian President Bashar al-Assad was attending the Arab League summit for the first time since his regional isolation ended. Zelenskyy said that he respected the decision of the Arab countries to restore ties with Syria, but he also reminded them of the suffering of the Syrian people under Assad's regime. He said that Ukraine supported a political solution to the Syrian conflict based on the UN Security Council resolutions and the Geneva process. He called for an end to foreign interference and violence in Syria, and for the protection of human rights and dignity of all Syrians.